But our next weather maker, you're going to be surprised to hear this. It's not snow that we're tracking, at least initially. It's mostly going to be the form of heavy rain, and that's on top of the warm temperatures already causing the snow to melt and some minimal flooding concerns now. This is just going to add insult to injury with what we're expecting for this week. This is what I'm concerned about with those flooding concerns I teased ahead to. Very significant amounts of rain going to be likely on Wednesday, a good soaking rain this week. And the problem with that is we may be talking about flooding concerns as well. The good news is it's not going to arrive today. You can see it's set for March 12th through the 16th. The first thing I noticed on this Skywatch camera is the lack of snow, or at least how much little snow there is compared to what there was yesterday. These showers I'm not concerned about. It's what we're expecting to see for Wednesday that kind of has me concerned a little bit. And all of this moisture is our source for flooding concerns for later this week. You could see a lot of those yellows and those oranges indicating some very heavy rain. In fact, I'm going to zoom in parts of Dakota and Dixon County, where we've actually reported a few lightning strikes just south of Emerson and near Winnebago early this morning. But really, the flooding concerns, we can blame it on the rain. Now in the springtime, the ground's warmer. It acts like a sponge, so it absorbs all of that rainwater. But this time of the year, when we're transitioning from winter into spring, the ground is still cold. We do have those flood watches in place, and they're going to stick around. But there's something else that we're tracking, kind of on the opposite side of the tri-state region. Winter weather, more so in the form of winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and winter storm watches, and even blizzard warnings across western South Dakota and western Nebraska. This is all one system bringing all of this moisture. If you live near a river or kind of in that river valley, get ready to take action whenever needed. We saw more than that old record by the time noon hit, and like I said, more rain is on the way. That center of low pressure probably sitting near Omaha and Lincoln. Look at how it's just circling around there. The next coming days, we're going to look at the rivers being of the greatest concern, and we have several areas looking at those flood warnings. This is a look at some of the flooding that we had across parts of Siouxland and Newman Grove. Take a look at the Shell Creek. It's all going over the road almost in front of these trucks. I've pulled up that camera once again in Norfolk, and you can definitely see how windy it is. But the reason I pulled it up is I just looked at what's going on at the airports, and they're actually reporting a little bit of snow right now in Norfolk. And you can see as we look at radar, I'm going to zoom in closer to that area of northeast Nebraska. The rain has switched over to a little bit of snow near Norfolk, south of Pierce, along Highway 81. Near Randolph and Laurel, you might be looking at a little bit of a mix of rain and snow out there right now. Usually a lot of the times they linger a bit longer than when you see the rain. So those large scale, those that we call the aerial flood warnings, those continue for a little bit longer here this morning. But then those river flood warnings, that's where we're going to see the biggest issue. We also talked about that we're keeping an eye on the rivers, one of those being the Missouri in Sioux City. Right now it's at a minor flood stage. We're expecting that river to crest a little bit later this weekend. But recently we've seen those flood warnings develop along the Missouri, especially with the increased releases at Gavin's Point Dam.
What are current predictions saying tonight?
Well, we're still looking at some of those local rivers reaching their crest by tomorrow. So the worst soon to be over, which is the good news. There is one fun thing I want to show you, or interesting kind of nerd thing. You can all nerd out with me. If you aren't watching the TV, I want you to turn and give yourself a few seconds and watch this. So we're going to show you a time-lapse video. 11 o'clock is when we're going to start this. We have it pointed to the Missouri River. You can look and see as you see those flood levels right along the shore there. Watch as we go through the day. You can see them get higher and higher. We stopped that at 6 o'clock and you can see those high levels. They are going to continue to be high here in Siouxland for the next several days. The latest was the river was at 36 feet, and we're expecting crest by tomorrow at about 37.5.
Your first look with meteorologist Lynette Grant.
Well, early this morning, we're starting to see more of the same as yesterday's rain showers, but later in the morning, we're going to see those showers transition over to a few snowflakes. Radar right now lighting up, almost looking like a kaleidoscope out there this morning with rain across central Siouxland and northwest Iowa. But we're starting to see the rain transition over to a little bit of light snow across far western areas of Siouxland. Let's look at where that transition pretty much lies right now. It's west of Yankton, so areas like Creighton, Bloomfield, maybe up near Springfield, South Dakota, Plainview, Nebraska. That's probably exactly where we're seeing that rain transition over to a little bit of snow. And that's why we're focusing and kind of shifting our focus to those winter weather alerts. You can see north and west of Sioux City, we do have those winter weather advisories, while areas like Yankton, Hardington, Wayne, and Norfolk are under winter storm warnings right now. Even in Holt County near O'Neill, they're under a blizzard warning, all due to the fact that once we start to see the snow, visibility is going to be reduced very quickly, and the conditions on the roads are going to deteriorate once again, very similar to yesterday. So let's time this out. 5 a.m. we're looking at those rain showers, so this is lining up pretty well out there this morning. We're going to see this system slowly move through Siouxland. You could see 8 a.m. we're still going to look at rain showers in Sioux City, but that transition line again going to inch closer and closer to Siouxland. And I think by 11, Sioux City will look at those snow showers starting, already going to be in full force across northeast Nebraska, while at the same time, areas from Estherville down to Denison still going to look at those rain showers. I think everyone will start to see snow showers by the afternoon if you aren't seeing them at that point. The good news is they're not going to linger very long past that. By this evening, we dry out, but you see the winds not going to let up, and that's going to create another problem for the day today. A lot of people concerned about flooding. This is how much moisture you can expect to see, maybe around a ½ inch of total moisture. Half of it is rain, half of it as snow, but in terms of the snowfall, overall not going to be a lot, but areas like Dixon County, Cedar County, Nebraska, going to look at some higher numbers in terms of those overall snowfall numbers. Temperatures today going to fall into the 30s. I know I say fall because we've actually already had our high temperature for the day, and that was in the mid 40s where we sit pretty much right now this morning. So today, tomorrow going to be a little bit cooler, but notice starting Saturday we're going to be right back into the 40s. So thankfully spring, we can think spring, and I think we've been thinking hard enough and wishing hard enough. It's finally here. Yeah.